Your best friend in the world.
Um,
It's your third best friend in the world?
uh, I've got a
Fourth.
lot of. I've got a.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm pretty.
No one's buying.
I'm
No,
pretty popular.
you're not. No, like I reckon you're real talk, dude.
Real talk?
Right out of the gate. Real talk. You've probably got. You're like everyone's like good friend, but like you're not that many people's like best friend. Like you're one of my best friends, but apart from that, like you got nothing outside of me. Like you need me, bro. You need me.
This actually hits home quite a bit because I've been feeling quite lonely this year.
Oh, don't do that.
I've been,
Don't
in a
make
different
me out to
country,
be the asshole.
in a different country, feeling quite isolated, and
Oh,
I'm not going to
here we
lie,
go.
wishing that more people had reached out and said something.
Here's the
And
crocodile
it's been a
tears.
little bit of a shock to the system, and if I'm honest,
Shut
because
up.
I guess I thought more people cared.
Well, they don't. And the sooner you learn that, the better.
I guess I gotta cut ties, I gotta stop putting myself out there for people.
You don't need to cut ties, dude. You need to gain ties.
I need to cut
You
ties.
need to create ties.
I need to change the ties of I need to change my tie.
You
I've got
need to
old
get a new
ties which aren't
tie.
working for me. I need to
You
put
need to
new
go
ties
with a
out there.
pinstripe tie. What's your favorite tie?
I think I like a slightly thinner than you'd think tie.
Me too. Not a skinny tie.
Not skinny.
in
but
between a
just
slim and a skinny.
Between a slim and skinny, exactly.
Which is what my go-to jeans are as well.
Yeah,
I like my ties like I like my jeans.
Uh-huh.
Slightly slim, slightly skinny.
Yeah. There's a dick joke here, but we're gonna move past it.
My dick is both slim and small.
Well, we don't need to go past the joke then, if you're just gonna say it outright.
I learned that from my a mentor of mine, Michael Scott. If you beat them to the joke, then you take the zing out of
Take the power
whatever
away.
Take the power away. And so that's why I'm constantly roasting myself.
Yeah.
Every hour, every second of the day, I'm just constantly roasting myself.
It's actually hard as an outsider to watch it because sometimes you're just like, stop, he's already dead.
Yeah. And speaking of roasting myself, by the way, are we on? We live, baby?
A singer, have we started? Have we started this?
So feedback from the Christmas song.
Oh, yeah.
Fiasco.
Fiasco. Now, what's made this a fiasco?
Well, you fucked me, bro. You fucked me. You fucked me in such a big way that you don't even know. I have to tell you this. I don't want to tell you this, but I have to tell you this.
Okay.
Because I'm an artist. And I cry for my art. And my art, by the way, is this podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Everyone knows this.
So not only did you fuck me with the Christmas song, just absolutely killing the Christmas song. You blew me out the water with the production value, with the effort, with the lyrics, which you posted to SoundCloud, by the way. Thanks for that. Check out Next Licks.
Spitting them so fast, sometimes it's hard to get all the actual nuances of the lines if you don't have lyrics to read along with.
It is helpful.
It's helpful.
But now you've got it. Now, not only that, but you've infected my head, and so now I'm fucking walking around my job, just going, beneficity. Just doing that to myself, just because it's an earworm, and now I'm just fucking like, it was so catchy in a way that now I'm just going beneficity, and like just around to myself, and then I have to remember that that's my penile placidity that I'm talking about, and it's just in my brain, and then fucking Emma is like humming your Christmas song, just like not even thinking about it. It's like we're in the car together. She's just like, singing bars.
Oh man,
yeah, you really pulled a number. You really pulled a number on me this Christmas.
I'm very proud of that. I'm satisfied. I'm glad.
You should be, dog. You should be. It's
You know, an earworm is...
proud
You can't just, like... You don't just get an earworm, you know? I wasn't trying to make it. Sometimes it's just lightning in a bottle, you know? It just happens.
It happened, baby. What's the feedback been from you after?
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out and be like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like, a lot of them seem to contact you first, which I think is fair, and then you screenshotted all their approval and sent it to me in what can only be read as a jealous or hurt tone. But yeah, 100%. No. Then I've had good mates get in touch and be like, "Holy shit!"
Not only have I had people send me messages about the Christmas song and how, you know, great or accurate it was about me, whatever. But I've read Katie showed me the messages you sent in order to set up. I was with Katie the other day and she was like, "This is," and even then I'm getting fucking roasted. You know, it's just it's relentless with you.
I don't think that's true. I don't remember explicitly roasting you with the setup messages.
No, you said one thing in particular, and I quote, It's just amazing how many of Michael's friends are willing to jump at this opportunity to take the piss out of him.
I did say that. Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, that's not really a roast, though. If anything, that's like a meta roast, isn't it? That was a statement of fact, which was that it was very easy to convince people to jump in a chorus line and sing along insults about you. That's not a roast. That's just an objective truth.
No, a roast would be generous compared to what you've done. You fucked my life up. In a way. You've ruined me. You've humiliated me in front of my friends, and you've done it with fucking flow. And I resent that, and I really appreciate that as well.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I knew there was only one way to get through to you this Christmas, and
there is.
It's through the medium of roast.
Yep, and now I have to one up you next year. That's the only way is up. And this is I think what we wanted from this, but it is something that has to escalate. I can't just come in with just a nice ballad next year. I can't do that. I have to.
You did a lovely ballad this year. I feel like we've skirted past it a bit. Your song was lovely this year. It was just in the same position that I was last year, where I took the cheap comedy route and you took the sincere full carol route. And it's a difficult game to play when you're coming at it from a different angle like that. Sure. But you did a great job.
This is not a competition at all.
I did win, but so let's not get rid of that aspect of it. But you're right; it wasn't a competition this year.
It was last. But it's not. It's not about the what's better. It's about what made the most impact on the other person.
Sure.
I think. Which I love. But yeah, already thinking of ideas.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm coasting now.
What?
I'm not interested in doing. I spent this past song has been on my in my brain for the past year. I'm quite happy to wait 6 months now and not think about Christmas song at all. I'm coming in as the reigning champ, going into round 3. I don't need. I'm happy to just sit and let you fret and sweat for a little bit, and then.
Pretty sure you sent me a message a couple of nights ago saying already got my next idea. So
I got my idea, so I don't need to do anything to think about it. So now just put it in a cache and seal it up and open that box in September.
Well, nobody knows what a cache is. Nobody cares.
Everyone knows what caches are.
Is it like a quiche?
It's it's like an eggy sort of savory tart.
Yeah, with songs. But hopefully before Christmas we'll have those songs on Spotify.
Yes, you've struggled and failed so far.
Well, not my songs uploaded pretty well.
I think you'll find that my songs are too high quality.
Yeah, probably too high quality. Just on that note,
they're having to actually patch in and put like an extra explicit tag, like a double explicit, just because the burns are so aggressive.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting for the tech teams to get back on that aspect.
Yeah, when I tried to upload it, it said error, too hot to handle. And I was like, oh, shit.
Shit, this is some
considered
spicy
dumbing
flow.
down the lyrics. But yeah, hopefully it is a bit of a process uploading to Spotify, annoyingly so. But hopefully for Christmas.
Cool.
But whatever, you can head to SoundCloud. Also, you haven't posted your song on the Facebook.
I thought you were doing it. Why am I?
I thought you were doing it.
I'm not in charge of social media. That's your
I'm not
role.
going to post your song. You post your own song.
It doesn't say that it's from either of us. It's just a generic deep thought post. It doesn't make any difference.
What am I going to do? Do like a fucking wrap up, like write some
just
copy
post
for
like
your
any
song
other
that
thing.
fucking destroyed me. Like
You said that you were going to
I've got
post
some
it.
self-respect.
But no one knows who posts on the deep thought post anyway. It's just blank. Just put it up.
That is
You are
not
the
true.
president of Deep Thought. I am the CEO. This is your task.
I did not know it was the president on Deep Thought.
You're the president. I'm the CEO.
Honestly, our dynamic has been more of an employee-employer relationship.
I'm promoting
and you know
you.
that.
I got some big news. You know, it's been a few years on the podcast now. You've been putting in some hard work, and I got some exciting 2020 prospects for you. Congratulations, Mr. President.
The dynamic is that we have Deep Thought, but you call all the shots, and sometimes you let me post on social media. That is the Deep Thought
You do all
dynamic.
I thought like I was giving you a domain. I thought this was understood between us that I don't post on I don't put this shit on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever. Like I'm not going to like wade into your area, just like you don't get to wade into like the editing or the, quality control or the like scheduling, the calendar, the topics, things like science news, what we do budget wise, posting it on the website, managing the RSS feed, sort of promotional stuff with brands and that sort of thing, emails. So I think it's a fairly even split.
Oh, fuck. I wish I just didn't laugh at that. I just held it. By the way, this podcast is proudly brought to you by Smooth My Balls. Smooth My Balls. Nick, I don't know about you, but my balls ain't so smooth. Well, they weren't. Until I bought a Smooth My Balls razor. You heard me right, folks. It's Smooth My Balls is the razor, the company, the brand. The brand. Head to smoothmyballs/instagram.com to type in Deep Thought to get your bowl. What is it? Is it a?
It's like I think it's like a personal grooming kit. Yeah, it just helps you get the hair off your ball sack.
Did you see that I did actually? They did message us.
This is legit. This is
true. Legit.
It's not a paid sponsorship, but they did reach out to us.
They did reach out to us on Instagram. Did you see what I wrote back to them, by the way?
I didn't. That's not my domain. I try and leave, a little area for you to feel proud of.
This is thank you. This is for real. And we are genuinely plugging Smooth My Balls, and you can find them on Instagram. But they did hit us up on Instagram and said they were basically asking for a review, like for us to review the product. And I wrote back to them and said, hey, if we're a podcast, we're happy to read our ads ad nauseum on our podcast for you if you just send us
a
one razor each. That's all you do. And they wrote back and they said, hey, we don't typically we're not in the position to send out razors at the moment or free merch or whatever. Well, they don't call it merch. They call it items, products. But let me get back to you. So, waiting to hear from Smooth My Balls. But that would be a total win. So, I think we just keep reading ads out for Smooth My Balls and maybe it'll get picked up.
I think that there's a solid chance here. We crossed paths earlier in the grooming industry with Manscaped, who, they weren't so impressed when we said that, we're the perfect podcast outlet for that kind of thing. They wanted hard data, they wanted to control us by making sure that we had a viewership which supported that kind of product placement. And to that we said, that's fair. And then we promoted Wall, which haven't responded to the plugs that we've been giving them.
No. We have tagged them on Facebook.
We tagged them on partnership. But I don't know that they've noticed. So I think Smooth My Balls, which has, from memory, 6 photos on their Instagram page and nothing else.
And a lot of bots. Don't forget the bots that are clearly following them.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a good chance here that we might get some knockoff Chinese ball shaving technology.
Look, we started this podcast almost 7 years ago. We didn't know where this was going to take us. And look, honestly, if we end up with one ball trimmer each from this, even one to share, Trans Tasman, then I mean, we could
retire.
mail it back and forth.
Yeah,
it might need 2 weeks' notice. Hey, I'm getting a little I just trimmed my balls in 2 weeks. Can you mail it back? We could do that. We're happy.
I think it needs to be an immediate thing, right? So if you trim your balls, it's like, okay, rinse it off, put it in the post that day, because the transit at the moment between these countries, it's taking 3 to 4 weeks. So I think it needs to be on like a TikTok schedule where the moment you get it, you shave it, back to the post office. Hey, didn't I just see you a minute ago? Yeah, dropping off my ball shaver. Got to go back to New Zealand. And they're like, good to see you again, Michael.
I love that you're telling the postie what's inside. Yeah, it's just my ball shaver that I share with a friend overseas. We have a podcast, by the way. The postie's like, can I not be a postie anymore, please?
Oh, welcome to Deep 4, everybody. Oh, thank you for being here. Last show of the year. It's 151. Got to catch them all. The 2027. Okay, I'm gonna wipe that back. The 2020 years season is over. Okay, fuck.
Nice.
I've lost it. I've gone a little bit computer crazy today. I've been staring at my computer at my desk all day, and it's just hurting my brain a bit. So I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
It's the end of 2020, and we're happy that you're here, sitting through the internet with me. Michael, say a few words.
Hello, Happy New Year. This is we're recording this before Christmas.
Nope.
So happy Christmas.
Oh,
we're recording this before Christmas, but it's coming out after Christmas? Is that correct?
No, I don't think so. I think it's coming out in a couple of days. Yeah.
All right, then fuck me. Happy New Year. Thanks for...
And I'm Nick. Hi. Sorry, I'm just starting to feel a combination of tired and potentially migraine-y, so I'm just keeping half an eye on it. I had a migraine on Tuesday, so...
All right, well, tell someone who cares, but yeah, I'm half in the bag already. I just came from a surprise work lunch, and I'm probably about 10 beers deep. And
oh shit, this explains a lot.
Divided the office in half, magically, with some questionable remarks that I don't know where they came from. I don't know, do you do this when you go... I mean, I don't think you do this, but I've just noticed that I'm doing it more because now I'm in a new environment with a new job that if no one says anything... Like, I didn't consider myself an awkward guy. You're probably going to laugh at that. No? Okay. I didn't necessarily consider myself an... It was, wasn't it? For a reason I didn't expect. That if someone doesn't talk, and I mean, like, I'm kind of like semi in impress people mode, or like still trying to make an impression, that I just flick into autopilot or whatever, and the shit that comes out of my mouth is just absolute garbage, and I feel like I genuinely have no control, and it's scary because I say some questionable stuff sometimes,
like,
to people that I shouldn't.
What sort of garbage are you talking about? Just like talking about random shit that no one cares about, or like...
Well, if I'm already talking and then I'll just keep talking, like, you will switch me off. Like, you will interject, or so, like, people that know me
I can fix you in post, yeah.
Right. And I don't have that in real life. I don't have an editor in real life. I don't have a filter. And I just feel like I can just keep going. And the more that I say, like, I've learnt now as a 31-year-old man that I'll get like the core stuff out in the first few sentences. It's like the inverted pyramid. Core stuff out first few sentences. After that, it's just like unnecessary drivel, and it might get me into trouble.
So what's going to get you into trouble? Like saying things about other people,
Yeah.
or like crossing like taboo topics or
Yeah, more the former. Like I just like kind of freeze and panic and then feel like I need to say something, and then I feel like it's like three fat guys trying to get out of a small door. Like it's like it's like fight or flight. That was fight, not fart. Although fart or flight could be something. Like it's like I've got like
either run away or stay where you are, but shit your pants.
shut or flight.
Shut or flight.
It's like I'm trying to like search for something to say, and then three things come at once, and then try and get through the small door, and then what comes out is just absolute shit.
And do you think that that's a like you feel the conversation ending and you're trying to like keep it going kind of impulse?
Yeah. It's that. I don't have great social skills, but I've built friends or a friendship, whatever. I don't know
Circle?
what the word is. Yeah, relationships where I can just say whatever I want and people will accept that, but that doesn't work necessarily in all circles. And also I haven't had to be in like, I'm not saying I'm like in professional mode at work, but it's like I have had to change I have had to adopt a certain like professional demeanor,
Sure.
which is a muscle I haven't flexed in a long time.
Yeah. Having to have that
shows.
sort of courtesy or like that just slight bit of like deference to other people.
Yeah, totally. And like in my last job, I mean, I was so comfortable there that I just never had to do that, and I would purposefully say shit to I don't know, politically incorrect stuff or say things to wind people up, but I can't do that now. And
Yeah,
it's really
but I mean,
affecting me.
You've done that before. Like you've been in that mode before. You've learned how to do that at jobs previously. So I think that it's probably just an adjustment period, right? It's finding that muscle again and working out, oh yeah, shit, okay. Here's the thing that I can talk about, or here's the angle to continue the conversation, or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like, yeah, I'm just in that period. Where
And
I'm
also,
like,
10 beers deep
dusty.
is going to do that to a lot of people in any context anyway, so that's not going to help.
Yeah. Nah, it's all good. It's all good, but yeah.
So I suppose that's as good a place to start as any, because this is kind of our retrospective on the year.
Yeah, this is my favorite. This is my favorite part of the year when we wrap up, and we got a big one. What a year!
What a year, and what a year for you. Like, I think we should start there. You got a job, right? You're in your big boy pants in a new location doing a thing that you really enjoyed. Talk us through how that happened and how you feel about it.
Well, I'll start somewhere slightly off that, where it was a continuation of something a conversation that I was having earlier, where so 2020 has been a diabolical year for most of the population, but for me, this has been a complete turning point in my life. This has been one of the greatest years of my life, honestly. And that's weird because everyone's gone through shit. And I don't mean just because of the job, but like, so this has been the narrative of this year for me. And it's been, okay, so I was doing a job that I, was into. But then in March, everything got shut down. There was a lot of uncertainty about. So March was rough. March 20, I remember the owners coming in at my last job and saying, basically, we didn't know that everything was going to get shut down, and we didn't know what our future was. We just kind of weren't taking it as seriously as we should have. But then the owners came in and had a staff meeting with some core staff members and basically
and I mean,
said,
if I can interject just quickly, like the very first time that we talked COVID on this podcast, I asked the question, what was it going to take for you to take this seriously? Not because you were wrong in not, because it was just not, it hadn't crossed to Australia and New Zealand yet. It hadn't got to that stage. It was this like conceptual thing that was happening overseas in the way that's like, oh, the Ebola thing's breaking out in Africa. It's like, well, okay. but there was no real suggestion it was going to sort of impact us to the extent that it has this year. And then almost 2 weeks later, you're like, okay, well, fucking did it because I lost my job or
Yeah.
I've been retrenched.
I remember what I said there. I said, it would take like the next door neighbor or some bullshit answer like that, like coughing or something, which is ridiculous. But I have been meaning to genuinely go back to that episode, and I would just love to hear, now that we're kind of coming out of the other side, and hopefully truly coming out of the other side. Yeah, well, New South Wales just recorded 17 more cases out of nowhere today. But yeah, it would be so interesting to listen back to myself pre-COVID as a naive young man. But yeah, anyway, so March 20 was when the business that I was working for basically told us, if you have anything else in the pipeline, maybe start thinking about pursuing that, because we don't know what's going to happen with our business. And then that was the fucking scariest thing in the world. I remember leaving that meeting and just going, holy shit. Like, they're basically telling us we don't know if we have a job for you. Yeah. They were telling us to start taking annual leave. And we're like, holy shit, like, what is that going to look like? We didn't know what JobKeeper looked like. But, so they were a tricky couple of weeks. But then, and that was the worst couple of weeks of the year. But then JobKeeper got introduced, and then that financial security, I was like, it was far less than what I was earning, but I was also spending less, and it was just enough to keep the lights on. So that gave me, once that kind of once the acceptance of the virus and how it was changing the world crept in, or was truly realized, then it was, okay, now I've got all this time to walk the streets and think and just listen to music and podcast, and I took up music in a proper way again, and I threw myself into that, and it was all that time, all those things that I would always fantasize about wanting to do when I was at work. I had the opportunity to do them, and playing poker and with my friends. It was just a lot of downtime, and that part was great. That part was truly great. And then just as things started to open up again, I was able to apply for a job that I really truly wanted. And if I was working full time like I was, there is no way that I would have been able to put the amount of effort necessary into the application to get the job that I did. And I haven't tried harder at anything in my life, and I really mean that, than I did at this application for the job that I got. Yeah, I had the time to do it. I immersed myself in it thoroughly. I decided that I really deeply wanted it, not just because I wanted a change, but I really wanted the job, and then I was able to get that job just as things started to open up, and that was in September, October, and the job, you don't want to put too much emphasis on like one thing, but it did solve all of my problems at the time. Yeah. Like, just as things started to open up again, I then now got a healthy salary. I was doing something that I really loved. Things were opening up again.
Yeah, you're actually able to go out of the house and go to place somewhere new and interesting.
Totally. And it wasn't kind of in the same. It wasn't kind of the same timing. It was like the week of. Yeah. Like the week that venues started to open up again was the week that I started the new job. And so I was working from home this whole time, and then now I got to step into an office and a truly like an environment and like a world, which is what it is. And it's just like there is So yeah, that is all to say that this year for me has just been so unbelievably wonderful, and there is a certain amount of guilt that I feel from that, because people have had it so rough, and I've also, on top of that, just had a good house. I have a partner that I live with. I've not all of the things that people have really struggled with: loneliness, financial security. Somehow I slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
And I feel so fucking grateful for that. I feel guilty. I feel #blessed. And I can't believe it, man. Like I feel really, really lucky. And not only lucky, I feel proud of myself as well for being able to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. But yeah, I mean, this year has been an absolute blessing for me, and I feel like a dog saying that a little bit, but that's the truth.
Yeah, well, and as you say, it didn't happen, like, it wasn't a mere roulette, it was also based on your efforts. So you put in probably 20 hours of preparation before that, like, first job interview. You spent an entire weekend totally top to bottom immersing yourself in the culture of the place you're looking at, like researching, preparing, thinking, writing, prepping, and then jumping into those, like, interviews utterly ready, and that's not just luck, that is effort. And in the same way, you were able to find, I mean, as you say, you were in a good position going into it in some ways, where you had a nice house, you had a partner living with you that you get along with and who could be there for you, and support each other through what was quite tough times. But again, that was also not just random luck, that was your conscious efforts at those things too. And even in that case of, like, oh, March, fuck, I'm losing my job, what am I going to do about it? There's a couple of weeks in which it was, uncertain, in which I remember you were applying for a bunch of jobs and that sort of thing. But you were able to find very quickly the silver linings of those moments and be like, well, shit, I can write music again, which I haven't been able to do for ages. I'm saving my money on certain things, and now I can pay off all my debt. Like, you diligently, you took that money, and instead of splurging it on things, which you did eventually, I think, but, like, your first impulse when you had those, like, surplus of funds coming through was to get balanced, right? To get financially in the black again. So again, that's self-control and diligence and persistence in those kind of things. And it as much as I understand the impulse to not be like, this is a great year, or, like, not diminish other people's difficulties in this time, of which you also had some, I think you do need to give yourself credit where it's due as well.
Yeah, you're totally right. And yeah, it was both. It was both. It was both a good year for me, and it was shitty in some parts, and it was mostly a good year for me, and mostly a shitty year for many people, and that's just how it happens. And I'm sure I'll have shitty years ahead, where other people have great years. But well, you said something just before that really made me think of. Oh yeah, just those early days where it was between the business being shut down and not having a job, and before we even realized JobKeeper was a thing. It's something I haven't thought about since you just prompted that, which was that in those weeks, I remember just not knowing what to do. I would wake up at 9, like a regular, my regular wake up for work time.
Yeah.
And I would just feel like I was like, all right, what do I do? And this is like at the start of the pandemic, when no one knows what the economy or the job situation is going to look like. And so those first few weeks, every day I was like frantically searching for any jobs. I even considered being a policeman.
Wow.
At one point. And it was just like, you don't know what to do.
Given the state of policing in 2020, you probably dodged a political bullet there, so to speak, I suppose.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's so crazy to reflect back on all that, like that, and that uncertainty. The uncertainty was the killer, and then like you said, like then the acceptance of like, okay, this is the state of the world for now. I might as well just make what's the saying?
Make hay while the rain
Hay while
shines.
make hay while the sows. Make hay
Make
while the
hay out of
grass.
lemonade.
When life gives you hay,
Get in the
say,
shade.
get in the shade.
So those are quite external thoughts. Like those are outside to you kind of things. The job, the relationship to an extent, the house, the finances, that kind of thing. What was your year like internally in your head, personally, emotionally? In your inside, Michael.
Inside Michael was good. For a couple of reasons. One was that I, at a certain point, felt that I really couldn't do anything about my situation. So previously, maybe I had, I would beat myself up a little bit or put pressure on myself. Like, you should be doing more to be in a position that you really want to be in. And then once that's taken off the table, it was like, I literally can't do that. So that was helpful in some ways. And then I think I just genuinely always wanted the time to just walk around like an old man and listen to music and just think about stuff. Like, it's like literally my favorite thing to do, and make music. And it was, so I was fulfilled. I felt fulfilled, properly so. And I don't know if we said this in the last podcast, but it was easy for me not to feel lonely, I guess. But loneliness is just something that I've not really wrestled with much. I've probably been lucky. But yeah, I think emotionally I was quite good. After those initial anxiety-inducing months of the year, quite good and quite stable. And then once we got out of it, and I, felt proud for things that I had achieved, it was really good. It was fine. It was really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
You've seemed like very content this year. You've seen.
Really?
It's amazing. Maybe it isn't amazing, but just having some of those burdens, which had always been there, doing a job which was a job, but not perhaps in the moment super satisfying, creatively or professionally, and moving to a position in which it was more fulfilling in terms of the actual tasks you're getting to do, or more stimulating in terms of the space that you're in, and financially better covering your costs and that sort of stuff. When you take away those like negatives out of your life, where it's like, okay, now you can be more fulfilled, more creative, and better paid for it, then all of a sudden that's like a huge burden removed from your like moment to moment life, isn't it? The satisfaction, I think, was evident externally as well, just in these couple of months.
Oh, that's nice to hear, honestly. I was saying this to Emma the other night, that I think my brain, and maybe everyone's brain, is kind of programmed to always search for like something to worry about. And I have had things legitimately, I felt there have been, to worry about in the past, be it money, be it job satisfaction, be it whatever. And this moment in time for me has been, I feel truly happy at this point in time. Like, and I mean that, like, coming into Christmas as well, like the whole thing, like I've got some worries, but like I really don't have anything to truly worry about. And I haven't felt like that in so fucking long. And it feels so good. And I can feel my brain trying to search for worries. And I've been listening to a lot of Sam Harris lately, and just trying to actively be present. And I was literally on the roof by myself last night and just being like, I was saying to myself, dude, just you're good. It's going to be bad later, probably, almost certainly, but it's good now. Just enjoy it now. And it was like this real sense of, all right, yeah, it feels good now. This moment is good. This is a good moment.
Awesome.
And I think that in itself, I've said to you on here and outside that I feel like I've had trouble kind of recognizing the good moments or the bad moments, and that I felt like I can only really do them in hindsight. But I think what I'm expressing there is a feeling like an inability to be present in the moment. And I think part of that, if I want to like try and be more present, is literally just saying to myself, this is good.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And just telling yourself that. And I think that's part of it. It sounds simple and silly maybe, but I think it works, and it's working. And I'm happy. All right. I think enough about me. This is getting too much. All right. Tell me about your year.
Well, now it's going to really feel like we're just two assholes, because I had quite a good year as well, to be honest.
Oh, look at us.
Just two white guys loving 2020. Woo!
Good to be white in 2020. Tell you what.
Middle class.
We suck.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, no, I did. But I can point to reasons which are personal as well as exterior.
Please do.
From an exterior perspective, like I've had quite a few amazing opportunities and successes this year, not the least of which was the Good Grief thing. And finally, 3 years into development on this show, or 2 years into development, we then entered 2020 having been funded and with the opportunity now to make it real. So we spent a few months working on those scripts, which is always really fun, and then having like a deadline and a goal and a format that we knew that we were working to, entering July and August, and then watching it come to life before my eyes, casting people, going up and standing around on set and getting in people's way as it was all happening. And
so what month was that, sorry?
July and August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then through the post process, which I was a bit more hands off with, but then at the end of it, getting to watch some final finished season of TV that I created with my friends, and a whole bunch of amazing people helped make happen. It's like, in terms of professional accomplishments, when I moved over to New Zealand coming up on 6 years ago now, it was exciting merely to be over there to work in TV, and to now, 3 years after going freelance, to have a show to my name, which says written by Nick Shadle, Eve Palmer, and Grace Palmer, and created by Grace Palmer, Eve Palmer, and Nick Shadle. It's very surreal. It's very satisfying, and I can't look back at this year for all the other shit that went on and not say, "Fuck, I did the thing. I did the thing. I got to write a comedy series, and it got made and funded, and it's about to come out in 2 and a bit weeks."
Yeah, wait, so when did you move? 2014?
I moved on the 6th of January 2015. I got the job at the end of 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, so coming up on 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 6 years, not a long time, really, if you think about it.
It's a third of...
for us... Yeah, it is a fifth of our lives.
It's a fifth of my life, yeah.
But when we're 50, it will be, a tenth of our lives or whatever.
I think it's better. It's better framed and more weird framed as half of my adulthood, because if you think from 18 onwards, that's like 12, 13 years, right? I will have been over here for 6 years now, so that's half of my adult life I've now spent in New Zealand, which is very weird. But
yes, but it is all relative.
It's all relative.
My point was that it is a large chunk of time now, but then if you reflect back on this after your career, you're hitting your middle point of your career in your 50s. I mean, it won't be.
No.
But yeah, it is quite emotional to think that this, like, you've gone from being stoked to be on a TV show in a foreign land to having your name on your own TV show in 6 years is incredible. And that this new platform that you've gotten to is the start of another platform.
Yeah.
Which is so cool, man. So cool.
Yeah. So I can't ignore that, massive professional success. It's professional and I suppose also creative success, getting to make a thing but at a legit scale that I've never really had the opportunity to. We've made things on the podcast, we've written music, I've worked in TV, I've made short films, all of these things are satisfying in their own ways, but to do it when it's with a budget of $500,000 and where you can have like real actors and real catering and real producers and amazing directors and all that, like, people that came together, that's a level of sort of satisfying which I hadn't got to experience yet.
Yeah. Do you feel like, in terms of your creativity, do you feel like, I mean, you're a guy that's always kind of been writing or doing this pod or doing music. Do you feel like just doing all those small little things has like helped you in some way, or to get to a point where you're playing with the big boys, or like, how do you view your creative output and how that's like evolved?
It's an interesting question. I think that all of it helps. I don't know that all of it helps in ways that are obvious, and I don't know that all of it helps externally to the other people. I don't think people are necessarily looking at the short films when they're deciding whether or not to, hire you for a TV job or something like that. But in terms of your process, I think everything you make helps you because you learn something from that process. It's interesting because I've felt a little bit this year that my creative outlook has had to be, by necessity, focused in a couple of very specific areas, like the TV show or like the video game. And because that has been so demanding, I do feel like I don't have that extra space for new ideas to percolate. Like, Good Grief has been the thing that I've been working on for the past 3 years. And so I've got a couple of long time ideas that have been sitting in the queue of, this would be a good script to write, or this would be an interesting project to try and get going. But I haven't had the mind space, I think, to get out and cook new ideas up in that kind of scripting context, if that makes sense.
Sure.
My creative outlet, because it is now my freelance job, it is hard to then sit down at the end of the day where I've been at the computer all day and go, let's write a script, but this one, it's just for me. So that outlet has turned into things like the podcast or the music stuff, where it's not
low
not
risk,
the next
yeah,
it's not for anyone else except for me.
Sure. Yeah, it's when you're working on a creative project in a way, it's funny, and I can relate this to music, where it's like you have that short spike of creativity, and then it's like the admin of maintaining or or coercing or molding that that initial spike.
A demo is really like cathartic and fun and freeing, and just like this, and then it's this, and this. And the absolute worst part is the second draft in any context, whether it's the writing of a script or a song, or sketching and starting to color in your comic or all of that stuff. The moment that it's like, okay, and now you have to make it good, it's just like, oh fuck me. The like agony of the tiny choices and the minutiae of trying to claw your way up the cliff towards perfection, towards the thing that you hear in your head or that you want it to feel like on the page. And everything, you're having to pull your entire body weight above you to try and get up towards there. And everything is arduous and painful and shit. You're like, this sucks. This sucks so bad. It was the same thing in the Good Grief when you first see the rough cuts of this thing come together and you're watching it completely ungraded, no music, the wrong takes, all this kind of thing. The timing's off. You're just like, oh my God, how is this ever going to be good? And then you just have to do that, diligent, painstaking. Just pick one thing and then fix that little one thing and then fix one thing and fix that and then slowly just push through that horrifying process where you've got no creative energy to the point where you can start to step back and go, oh, it's actually good. Oh, it's okay. And then it's satisfying again. You can pick up that sort of downhill momentum and finish off the project. But
it's funny that a lot of creativity is basically you trying to translate what's in your head or the vision that's in your head to the product or the project that you're making. It's that's what it is. That's the job, is trying to get this, whatever's up here, to there.
Yeah.
To to make that a thing.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Yeah.
To do, because you've got in your head you've got as many tools.
Head is
you've got all the
infinite,
tools.
Yeah.
And then in life you don't have all the you've got some tools.
Yeah, but you also don't have necessarily all the time or all of the
and you've got other moving parts. You've got other people's vision.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun, isn't it? All right, keep going.
So the work stuff was good, and then also I can't not mention Sherlock, which has been a sort of a dominant part of the second half of this year after Good Grief wrapped, jumping into another video game and really getting to sink my teeth into that in a way that the first time I was doing sort of proofreading and going through what was already existing and tightening and rewriting and I think I in the end did about 75,000 words of that, but it was off a template effectively, and that offered some creative expression within those confines of already existing conversations and scenarios and that sort of thing. In this one, because it's the same bunch of people and they liked and trusted me going into it, and I think possibly because I had a TV show this time around and I was able to, I suppose, reassure them that other people valued me creatively. They were able to trust me with some legitimate original creation for Sherlock. So a significant number, if not all, of the key creative narrative moments in this video game I wrote from scratch. And that is a degree of creative opportunity I really didn't expect. Even coming into this project, I wasn't hired to do that. But at a certain point, they said, hey, we need someone to write the opening of the game and the endings of the game and the conversations between Sherlock and his brother. And all of these moments needed to be actually conceived and written and linked together with a thematic arc and a philosophical arc that matches the vision of the game. And I got to write it. I got to write the beginning and ending of this video game. And people are going to play this shit and watch digital conversations and cutscenes that I created. And that's, again, just the most me thing. Yeah, and again, the most...
And you're creating a world for someone else, which is the thing that just kills me in a good way. It's just you are creating a world for someone else to inhabit. That's amazing.
Yeah. And again, it's not solely me, and it's going back and forth with a team that knows what their vision is and changing things and asking this, and they're the ones building it. They don't listen
to this. You don't have to say that.
But my point is that it's still working within some limits, and that's part of the collaborative satisfaction of it is having this feeling of being a team working on a thing, even though they're literally the other side of the world. They're in Europe. I'm on a TikTok schedule where they're 12 hours behind me. So if we have to have a phone call, I'm either doing it at 9 p.m. at night or 8 a.m. in the morning.
You told me you weren't on TikTok.
Yes, exactly. That's because I'm bad at dancing. So
Wow.
that whole aspect has been quite satisfying. And then I suppose to reverse the question I asked you, there's the entire emotional and like personal stuff of this year, which is that I have now been in a relationship for basically a year, 11 and
So
a half months.
when did you meet the boy?
January 9.
Around this time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can definitely chalk that down to this year.
Yeah, this is a 2020 thing. It was just as I got back from Adelaide in January. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So coming up on a year, the longest relationship I've ever been in by a long stretch. And from a personal and relationship level, the amount of satisfaction in that, the amount of like learning that comes from that, the amount of confidence, relief, enjoyment, just all of these things which I haven't had the opportunity to experience, but that I'd sort of waited for and wanted. And to then get a year in which, with all of the other shit that was going on, including a lockdown of 5 weeks where, we were living in different houses and didn't see each other. And that was March. That was only 2 months into this thing. So very early on. It was...
Yeah, it feels like you guys have been together for ages.
Well, a year, like a year's in terms of people's long-term relationships, nothing. But in terms of starting from scratch, the first year of relationship is a fairly long time, right? Like that's a significant period to get to because so many don't, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting as well with the amount of shit that has happened in the year that your brain does this weird thing where it feels like simultaneously it feels like the longest time and the shortest time.
Yeah.
Like your brain does this weird mental illusion thing where when a lot of things happen in the year, you feel like the start of the year was the last week.
Yeah.
And also 3 years ago. It's so weird.
Yeah,
and
we talked about that a
feels
little bit in the middle of the Corona sort of
we did, right.
lockdown stuff. But yeah, totally.
So weird.
And I mean,
So
we're both coming from
in terms of your relationship. Sorry, in terms of your relationship, I mean, starting your relationship just before all the 2020 shitstorm, and then to now. I mean, it must like kind of have the same effect on how you perceive the relationship. Like you've gone through a lot together.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a strange one because like I'm completely in the normalcy of it now.
Of what?
Of the relationship, in the sense that this is my normal now.
You mean you've stopped trying?
I didn't say that.
I read between the sheets.
I'm still constantly delighted by it, but this is my I know what my week's going to be like. Like I know when I'm going to see him, and I know what we're going to do, and just the constancy in which like having someone to talk to across the day, or like checking in and seeing how they're going. That's all very normal now, in a way that happened very quickly, where there was this like the first 6 months of it were so weird, both because I hadn't had a long-term relationship before. It's learning how to communicate, learning what you need to be open about, learning the things you need to be patient with, learning each other's quirks, just the things that you need to take and love and forgive, or the things that you can try and help change, or the things that you need to work through together, and all that kind of shit. On top of, also, for a month and a half, you're not going to be able to see each other because of the pandemic. And and then even when you do get out of it, there's nothing to do, nowhere to go, and all that kind of stuff. So it was.
So what have you found difficult about that?
What have I found difficult about like being in the relationship?
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, no, I don't want to half negatives. I'm just curious because you see, it sounds like you're learning a lot of new things. Like you said, it's your first long-term relationship. You're learning a lot of things. You're getting a lot out of it. I'm just curious to hear what you have maybe struggled with.
It's the combination of personalities. It's knowing how to communicate in like a objective way, or like a calm way when you're feeling hurt, or when you're offended by something, and you have to sort of rationalize, is this important enough to bring up or not bring up?
But is that not a muscle you've had to flex just in your other relationships with people, with friends?
Sure, sometimes, but it's not quite the same way. You know, and part of it is also learning to trust there's someone else there who's got your back. Being able to be vulnerable and able to reach out when you're feeling shit or when you need assistance, and know that they'll be there, or be able to do the same for them. That's a, you know, I think you and I are both quite independent people, but having that person there that's a luxury that I had never had before. Being able to have that emotional support, or the person to push you in a productive way out of your ruts, or push you to try things that you wouldn't normally do. That has been such a rewarding part of it.
Yeah, and it seems like he's really doing that as well, which is one of the best parts about the relationship. Yeah, it's one of the best parts about the relationship is that tearing of the muscle. Like you will start to become a different person just by virtue of the fact that you will change each other with your own personalities, and you'll challenge it if you're in a good relationship like you are. You know, you will challenge each other, and that will tear muscles, and then you'll grow, and you'll both become different people by the end of it. You know, not that there'll be an end, but
sure,
you know,
yeah, I know what you mean.
You'll be different people, and that is the beauty of relationships. And you know, it can be tough, but yeah, it's both.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, that is one of those difficulties as well, because sometimes you're like, just let me be in my rut.
Yeah, I like myself. Don't change me.
I'm perfect.
I'm great.
And having the humility to be like, it actually doesn't matter.
Right.
We'll do the thing you're suggesting, or like I can be better than where I am, or you know, I can be fitter, or I can you know, all the things that encourage and support one another to be or to do. It's that's been, you know, there's been so much in that sphere that I have learnt and enjoyed this year.
Yeah, I can tell. It's like it comes off you. Yeah, it's obvious to me, which is great.
What part? That I've changed?
No, not that you've changed. Just that you're really making an effort to either to take on things that are important to Casey, or that he is challenging you to take on. And I only see one side of it because I don't have a podcast with Casey yet.
Yeah.
But that's in the works. But yeah, it is obvious to me that you are challenging yourself to kind of meet him at halfway, or you know, take on his hobbies a little bit and try new things, and that's cool.
Yeah, I really, it's kind of amazing on reflection how much like I feel protective of him, I feel proud of him, I feel excited every time he like comes over. I'm always looking forward to doing new things. Just having like a genuine sort of underpinning of love, like day to day, is just really sweet and soppy and rewarding.
Boy. You're fucked. You are fucked, mate.
Yeah.
You are fucked.
And I haven't even had 10 beers.
Oh boy. No, that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Borderline on tears. Boy, just while we're on relationships, just let me do one. Hey Siri, can you text Emma and ask her to bring me down a beer? Send. Siri's just said, texting Emma, bring me down a beer. I'm just gonna go with that.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh wait, no, she's changed it to just Siri just said texting Anna, bring me down a bit.
Oh, good.
Let's go with that one. I just sent Emma a message via Siri saying, just Siri just said texting Anna, bring me down a bit. So
I think she's going to appear very quickly concerned that you've had some sort of neurological failure.
Yeah. So what about emotionally? Like you asked me, like emotionally, psychologically, like over the year, how have you coped with the year? How have you come out?
Well, I think
you came out years ago, but
yeah, it's true. Nearly 10 years ago, I think.
happy anniversary.
I might be wrong. On that. I can't remember. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I mean, it is very weird to be able to do this podcast and reflect on how the COVID thing was in the past, right? It's strange in a global context, particularly watching America, how fucked it is. But even like Europe, even the UK, the images of people walking around in London just doing their Christmas shopping with no masks on. It's crazy that the UK is in this fucking death spiral. It is bizarre. I never thought that it was so fragile over there that it could just slide down this inexorable, I don't know, gutter after Brexit and just be completely politically fucked.
What is it about, like with America, it's kind of explainable because everyone's a libertarian there. Like, don't tell me what to do. But how do you explain it in Europe? I mean, maybe we're doing this. We're talking from Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah,
we're literally isolated.
Yeah,
and closed off by great masses of water.
Yeah,
so that's probably got something to do with it. But also, they do control their own immigration. Like,
and also, you look at Asia, there are plenty of highly populated, landlocked countries which have had not anywhere near the same kind of problems. It is.
So what is it? Is it a mentality?
It's a cultural thing, and I think it's honestly a combination of politics and media. Right?
Totally.
I don't know that you could put it up to anything else. What defines culture? Culture is what people say and do, and who they vote to represent them, and what they engage with, and that's all interconnected. And I think that both of those countries have just got this fucking crazy, ineffective politics plus batshit media kind of wing, where the media aren't really holding people to account, but the politics are sort of insulated from the media now, so they can do what they want anyway, and it's all just kind of in this ideological death spiral. And as a result, people are just like, well, fuck it, I don't trust anyone. I'm gonna go around and catch COVID. It's just, yeah. So we don't need to go too far off into the political weeds about it all, but just being in this position where, I mean, New Zealand life is just normal. It is just normal. You scan a barcode as you walk into any sort of restaurant or supermarket or whatever, and just track that you've been here. But that is literally the only thing that we have to do. You don't have to wear masks anywhere. You don't have to even really carry a mask anywhere. Anywhere. Possibly public transport, but I don't think so. I think that was only during the COVID reappearance in Auckland a few months ago. But yeah, so it's all just normal. It's really just normal. The only thing is we can't go anywhere, and we can't have people come into the country. So that's been the emotional sort of underside of this year, is that I have been locked away from home in a physical sense. and to a lesser extent, I've felt that emotionally as well, where it has always been a regular fixture of my calendar is that I would spend the year in New Zealand and then I'll get a couple of weeks at the end back home in Adelaide. And I get to see my family and I get to see my friends, and then it's back to New Zealand. And that has always been a breather. Not that I needed it, but just that sort of enjoyable Christmas season, home base reconnection kind of thing. And this year, particularly because I knew that things were difficult for them, just as they were difficult for us, in terms of, my sister was in Melbourne too. She was in lockdown. My parents were in Adelaide by themselves. They're in lockdown to a lesser extent. That aspect of it where it's like, I know that it's tough for you as well, makes the distance more noticeable. And going into this Christmas season where I'm not going home, I'm feeling that aspect of it too, where it's like, I would really, really have liked to be able to go home and see you all.
Do you think that you'll do that? I mean, they're talking about the Tasman bubble happening in early 2021. Do you think you'll be on that first flight?
Yeah.
Over?
Well, not the first flight, but yeah, I'll be back home in 2021. Like that's fine. I think what's more interesting in terms of a reflection on the year was just the revelation that like in my day-to-day New Zealand life, I don't really feel the distance. In different years, I didn't really feel the distance. It was always something that, well, it's 3 hours away. Like, I can pop over really on an impulse. On a whim, I could go home. If someone has a wedding, I can pop home for a weekend. I've done it. That kind of thing, I didn't realize the security that sort of blanket was. The net of, well, home's not far away and I can get there. And so even though there was nothing immediately pressing, no emergencies, no real loss even to not being there over Christmas in terms of practical things other than maybe missing a couple of weddings, simply knowing that I am now stuck here and that I have no family here, my family is there, psychologically that did add more to my stresses this year than I think I would have anticipated. Even though I'm still a fairly level kind of person. I definitely noticed it about myself, feeling that distance for sure.
Well, this might be a difficult question to answer, but what do you think that you get from touching home base and seeing your folks? Like, what do you think that gives you? What do you think seeing your parents allows you to come home to New Zealand with? Like, what is it? Is it a reminder of who you are or where you came from? Like, I'm asking
it's
myself
comfort.
at the same time.
It's just comfort. It's comfort, right? Like,
it's love. It's
of course
people who know you better than anyone.
Yeah, but it's also little things. It's like I can go and get a pasty at the bakery. It's I can have someone else cook me dinner. Or do my washing. Right. I can see friends that I haven't seen all year and actually have a good conversation with them where you're connecting in person, face to face. I can give them a hug versus the Skype thing, which works, but it is not the same level of like conversation typically or satisfaction as getting to hang out with someone. It's a substitute, but it's not quite the replacement. So that aspect of, I think it's literally and metaphorically true. It's closeness. It is being able to be in an area that brings you comfort and a sense of home and a sense of closeness.
Yeah, my parents are selling their house.
Right, shit.
So this is going to be the last Christmas in our fucking house.
Yeah. That's a childhood house, yeah. That's been 20 plus years, 20 years.
Well, we had.
Oh, yes. you had the one in
We had Wayville until like maybe 15, and then maybe 16, and then 17 to now. It's been this one, but
yeah,
Yeah, my parents, like, we're all in another state now, so it makes sense for them to. They've got a giant house, but knowing that we're going back this year, and we're just lucky that we can go back for Christmas. That this will be the last time that we actually are all there as a family. So extra special, but just grateful to actually be able to do that and feel really great, like really thankful for the people that are in power that have allowed us to do this, like Dan Andrews and Jacinda over there, that they have really made, like, Christmas was all I wanted once we realized that 2020 was going to be an absolute write-off.
Yeah.
It was like, can we just have Christmas? And they got us there. I mean, look at fucking USA and the UK. The UK's going into harder. I mean, they're not. I think they're saying, use your common sense, which is whatever going into Christmas. I think that's the UK policy at the moment. There's like, just be sensible about it, which is obviously not going to work. But they're expecting now in the UK that over the Christmas period, they're going to get a massive spike in COVID cases, and it's gonna overrun their healthcare system there. So they are anticipating already just
disaster,
an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
So, and now we're in a position where
we can go hang out at people's houses, and
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Feel very fortunate.
Absolutely. And this is the 2020 wrap up. So by necessity, we are being introspective about ourselves and our lives. But I hope that to those of you listening, if you're still listening, that you are able to enjoy some things as we come into the end of this year as well, and are able to see the people you want to see or speak to them, and feel that closeness or appreciation for what you've been able to enjoy this year as well. And if it's been just an absolute clusterfuck, well, you're not alone in that either. And I hope 2021 is better for you too. If you are looking for more things to do over your Christmas break, if those parents that you've been so desperate to get back to, or your sister who you've been waiting for hangout time with actually is a pain in the ass and you'd forgotten about it, and how did you forget about it? And you're just looking for something better to do. Well, there's plenty more episodes of our podcast here. You can scroll down the feed and just pick something out. It'll be delicious. It'll be great. It'll be satisfying, and those hours will fly by. There's also plenty of other places on the internet to find us. Facebook has a page. You can join us for information about octopus. There's a Twitter page if you want notifications of the episodes going live. There's Instagrams with posts of things. There's the SoundCloud if you want to listen to those carols. I've started to tune out even when I start speaking. And you can send your questions and comments to deepfort@gmail.com, and they'll go into the mailbag, and we will be sure to check them out.
Yeah, lovely. Well done. Didn't listen to any of that, but well done. Whatever.
Okay.
This is my love the wrap up. I love this, Nick. I loved just reflecting on the year with you just then. I really did. So all right. So I got one quick thing to say. I have to tell you this. It's fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. So the other night I went and saw a movie called Possessor. Really scary. Great movie. Go see it. But for the first time ever, actually, well, to my knowledge, after seeing that film, I sleepwalked, and I did something really weird in my sleep. And I think it was, I had been drinking a little bit, but not like, I mean, I drink quite a lot. And I don't sleepwalk. Yeah. And I think I suspected this movie because it was quite traumatic. Do you think
you got possessed by a demon?
I feel like just the graphic images made me like have a very vivid sleep, and so I record my sleep on this sleep cycle app.
Right. Yes.
Right. And so this is what happened the other night. I don't remember any of this. Emma said that I woke up in the middle of the night. So this is the first thing. I I did the loudest fart of all time. And my sleep app recorded it.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to play it, obviously. Let me get it up.
That's what she said.
I'll send you...
Sounds like a door opening.
So loud, dude. Like, I was so embarrassed and also impressed. And I picked up that fart, but that was just before I must have woken myself up with that gigantic pop-off and gotten up, and then I went to go piss in my washing basket.
Oh.
And then Emma...
I'm pretty sure you were just peeing in the corner. Baby.
Says, baby, I'm pretty sure you're just pissing in the corner right now. Recorded on my sleep app. And then from there, I pissed just in the corner of the room in the washing basket, and then I woke up at like 5 a.m.
That's actually quite convenient. Like, of all the places in a room to piss,
that's what I said.
That's very lucky.
That's what I said. She didn't see it the same way at all. But then I woke up in a completely different room. I woke up upstairs on the couch and no recollection. And then Emma's just filling me in the next day. So that happened.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's
I've never
exciting.
sleepwalked before. But yeah, I just really wanted to tell you that and tell you about my fart because that was cool. And then
some big news
else?
at the back of this podcast.
Yeah, I'll send you that audio if you want.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then well, this is part of, I guess it was going to be a part of science news, but doesn't need to be part of science news.
Sure.
I just wanted to say, we were talking about this earlier today, December 21, Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter and Saturn are getting closer in the night sky, and they have been gradually doing so over the last month or so. I'm lucky enough to have a rooftop and go out there. I love looking out, seeing the stars, and you can see them night by night getting closer and closer. And on December the 21st, they are going to be so close in the night sky that they are going to appear as one big star. And the last time that's happened was in the year 1200 whatever. And the next time it's going to happen is the year 2080. And that's interesting in itself because, Nick, we might be alive for that. I mean, you'll definitely be alive. And I was thinking, like, if we live to the year 2080, we'll be 91 years old.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility. We could live to that.
Possibility.
It will be...
Podcast will have slowed down a bit.
Probably the output will be
Will
lessened.
probably be tri-weekly.
And less segments. I might talk more about just life in retirement homes.
Yeah, I mean, what's different?
But it is interesting to think that this phenomenon in the night sky that I'm super excited about and that I think I'll remember for a while, that it could be like this checkpoint.
Yeah.
Like the last time I saw this, I was 30, and now I'm 90. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, everyone look up in the night sky. Jupiter and Saturn are so obvious. They're the most visible stars in the sky. Jupiter looks like this big bright star, and then Saturn's right next to it. If you don't have Skyview Lite, the app, download that app because it's the greatest app ever. I think it's free. You can pay $15 a year to use it properly. But you can just scan the sky for stars. I highly recommend it. This is a celestial gift from the gods.
Yeah.
This is like the Christmas star happening. It's really amazing.
The substitute that I'm putting in for traveling to Australia is Casey and I are doing a road trip down south for a week between cool. Christmas and first day, New Year's Day. First day is what we call it here. One of the highlights of which, for me, is New Year's Eve in Lake Tekapo, which is a dark sky reserve. So there's no lights permitted to pollute the night sky, and there's observatories and things there. And so on New Year's Eve, we're doing a stargazing tour at 10:30 at night, which will be beautiful, assuming that it's not cloudy. And then after an hour's guided tour, it ends with an hour floating in like a pool, staring up at space in a dark sky reserve. So it's ending with like just chilling in a pool, staring into the Milky Way in a dark sky reserve.
The front door. That sounds like the most amazing thing ever. Is this your idea?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. It's
You're
going to
killing
be.
me here, Nick. That sounds so good.
I have told you this before. I don't know if you're just playing along for the podcast or whether you've forgotten that I sent it to you.
I don't play.
Okay.
For the podcast.
Sure. Okay.
No, I didn't. I just completely forgot.
Yeah. So
That's the case.
that's something very exciting to look forward to. And I imagine even though it won't quite be the nexus of their proximity to each other, they'll still be pretty close to each other then. And hopefully we'll get to enjoy.
So what day are you going?
The 31st will be there.
31st.
10 days later, they'll still be around.
Well, you'll still be able to see it regardless, but you can just see them now. It's starting to get close.
Yeah.
They're quite close now.
Yeah.
December 21st, or whatever, is going to be the time where they're
it's
going to
4 days
appear
away.
as the
Yeah.
star, as the same star. But can't wait for that.
Yeah.
By the way, did you get my girlfriend a Christmas card, and not me?
I don't remember if I
What the fuck's this?
definitely sent Emma a Christmas card. Did I forget to send you a...
Well,
Oh, that's awkward.
that's awkward because I fucking got you a present,
Oh,
and you gave my girlfriend,
did get your
and
girlfriend
not just any Christmas present,
yeah.
an essay of a Christmas card.
Yeah, a really nice sort of heartfelt card. Yeah, no, I am remembering that. Did I? Oh, that's
read that.
awkward. I didn't. You haven't read it?
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, that's probably fine. That's probably for the best.
I'm just skim reading now here, and this is, don't take my laughter as acceptance of this.
Okay,
But
I'm still mad.
I'm still really mad, but I'm just skimming.
Do you want to read it out?
And in the print, should I read it out?
Oh, it's quite long.
Nah, it's long. No, in the print section where they give you, it says Merry Christmas. That's just default, and you've written or Islam, which doesn't make sense at all. But it's very funny. But I'm still very cross.
Okay.
I didn't get anything, and you're gonna feel like a right prick.
I am gonna
after
feel
this present that I put in so much thought into.
Okay, well that's still foreshadowing because we're going to quickly do a rec engine because I got a couple of things. You know, we're going into the Christmas season. People have time. They've been begging me. What should I watch? What should we do? Let's start the rec engine.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, people, stop. I'll get
Stop.
it for you soon. Enough. I'll recommend you something soon. Just quit it. I'll grab the keys. Grab the keys, Nick.
You said the thing. Welcome to Deep Thoughts Recommendation Engine. Alrighty, I got 2 shows and an album. We're going to rattle through them quite quickly. The album, Sunlux, has released a couple of albums this year, and what they're doing like a 3-part series called Tomorrow's. So there's Tomorrow's 1. Tomorrow's 2 just came out. It's really terrific. That's sort of like in an electronic-y sort of R&B kind of Sufjani kind of bullshit. You know my styles. Go listen to it. It's really nice. Okay.
Is that your album of the year?
No. That's a difficult question.
Can we quickly
No,
squeeze in an album of the year?
Oh fuck! I might have to look that up.
I've got one off the bat.
Okay.
Album of the year. I decided this the other day. It's Sure by Fleet Foxes. That album.
It's a very good album.
Just grew on me exponentially. That's my album of the year.
That's a very good album.
Love it.
Oh, that's really tough. God.
Ascench?
I really liked quite. No, I don't think so. It's an okay album. That's
a lot of people didn't like it. Like I heard friends.
I like it. I just found
Didn't
it
get
a little
through
bit. I found it a little bit repetitive. If you cut out Death Star and whatever the song that comes straight after that. If you cut out those 2 tracks, I think I'd like the whole package. But by that point, like 2/3 in, it's just a little bit slow for me. I like it when he's more sporadic in stuff like Age of Odds, or if it's one note or like one vibe, like Carrie and Lowell was, that the lyricism of it is really deep and interesting, and I find that the weakest part of Ascension.
One note, one vibe.
I think probably I really got a lot out of the Ultra Easter Sister album. I think that was a fucking good album. Shore is very good. The Quiet River of Dust, sort of the series by Richard Reed Parry. I think the second one came out this year. That was really nice. But I think the number 1 album for me has to be San Fermin, the Cormorant 1 and 2. That has been in my head ever since it came out in like April, and I just fucking love it. San Fermin. I've previously wrecked that one.
You have, yeah. All right, I'll properly. Why don't you recommend it twice on the recommend? That's when I'll listen.
That's when you start to listen. Yeah. Okay, TV shows very quickly. They're both comedies, very different styles. The first one, 6-part documentary HBO series, How To with John Wilson.
Yes.
Executive produced by Nathan Fielder. It is a one-man show of this guy who walks around New York and films random clips and then strings them together into very small-scale documentaries that go off into very interesting directions. It's a bit indescribable, but very touching by the end, particularly when it starts to overlap with the pandemic. And the last episode sort of charts the pandemic as it rolls out in real time in a way that I hadn't seen done on TV elsewhere.
Well, it's no spoilers. Really cool. I'm on episode 4, and thank you for that recommendation. That it is right up my alley. I second that recommendation. That is such a funny show. Love it. It's like nothing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is, but it's
I don't know
just
what it
the
is
best.
Either. It's so good.
Definitely check it out.
And then on the complete opposite end of naturalism, the Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun on Netflix is a sketch series by Auntie Donna, which is a trio of Australian comedians. And it is like very, very aggressively like written, hyper-edited, Netflix set money, strange cameos and things. And it's just very bizarre and very funny. I laugh a lot watching that.
I'm so surprised that is your vibe.
Why is that? You've watched?
Yeah, dude, those guys live literally around the corner from me.
Right, yeah, shit.
Yeah. So I see them all the time. And I was actually having this conversation just before I got here that there's something about Auntie Donna, and I think it's the Australian, like, everything's a drum, like, that I hate. But I also can't look away. Like, it also is very interesting. And it was produced by Scott Aukerman, that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't it? And Ed Helms.
And Ed Helms, yeah.
And I did watch all of it. I was a little bit stoned every time, if you know what I mean. But I kind of like had a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I hated that I loved it.
Yeah.
But I didn't love it, but I don't know. I'm so surprised that you liked it.
I really like it. It's I think what I really like is that outside of the concepts of the sketches, the execution is like so fucking nice. The milliseconds for every shot, like the editing of it is so tight. The visual effects of it is so polished. The transitions from moment to moment is so good. The ludicrous nature that they go off into these little worlds. That level of it, the meta like TV production of it, on top of the fact that just like the premises of the jokes are mostly pretty funny, I really like. I just am impressed by it.
Yeah, it is an impressive combination of going off on the most surrealist tangent ever, but written.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly thinking about how they did both of those things. They were like trying to be absurd, but also write it out.
And because
the production value is quite high.
And how does Ed Helms get involved? How do they know each other? How did this show partnership happen.
Also, Ed Helms just produces shit. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, good on him. I don't know. Don't know where I stand on Auntie Donna, but they did entertain me for a while.
Yeah. Have you got any recs?
Oh, I was just trying to think of hopefully what's one movie that I can give you. Great movie of this year. Oh, I really loved On the Rocks, which is a Sofia Coppola film. The new Sofia Coppola film. It's kind of a nothing.
Is that the one with Rashida Jones, or am I imagining it?
Rashida Jones and Bill Murray.
Yeah,
it's just a really nice movie. It's not anything special. It's no Lost in Translation, but it's just a really nice movie. What else? Possessor was good. I can't really think of on the spot, but I'll probably post in my Facebook top 5 films. But
sweet.
On the Rocks was up there for sure.
Nice. All right. Should I open this present?
Open the motherfucking present. Okay. Can't wait for this. I'm so glad that the packaging
package
didn't
arrived
away.
in time. Yeah.
No, it didn't arrive in time at all. But
is this the one that was meant to come last week with the koozies in it?
I was hoping that it was kind of time in time for Christmas, but I guess it still is before Christmas.
Yeah. What? Okay, what I have here. What I have here is a sealed. Oh, it's very funny that we dissed these guys earlier. A sealed capsule of Manscaped brand crop mops. The hashtag refining the gentleman. These are refreshing ball wipes with active pH control. An anti-chafing, moisturizing, deodorizing ball wipe, perfect for on the go.
Yes, sir.
For your active life, your work, your travel, your dating, you got 15 individually packaged, pH balanced ball wipes with a signature Manscaped scent. Designed for easy travel and quick on-the-go use, these antibacterial, anti-chafing ball wipes will keep you dry all day. You'll be clean, fresh, and ready for anything. Wink. It doesn't say wink. I just read in a wink. Oh, that is so kind. It's the present I didn't know that I needed.
Isn't that a great gift? It's both
That's a
funny
great gift.
and also you probably use it.
Oh,
and that's also
4
from
to
me.
6 times a week, probably.
That's also from me to you and Casey, because you guys are an established couple now. So I give you a couple. I give you presents. As
a couple
to
gift.
a couple.
Well, it's 15, so I guess we'll split one.
I mean, you're both gonna get get use out of both of them either way.
It's true. We'll both benefit. Well, that's so kind of you.
You're welcome.
I'm very appreciative. Tell Emma I love her.
All right. I'll open my present now.
I think. Sorry. Just look up. Just look up. You see that part of the moon that you own?
No, I'm inside. Oh yeah, okay.
Metaphorically.
I didn't know that was going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
It's the gift that comes back.
You got me that gift 5 years ago.
No,
dog.
you were in Melbourne.
What does that mean?
You were in Melbourne.
All right. I was like, I'm up Melbourne time. I don't know, the years go slow.
You're sleepwalking. You're sleepwalking. Michael, wake up.
Don't. It's scary to sleepwalk, Nick. Don't make fun of me for sleepwalking.
You farted while you did it.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to sleepwalk and just do what everyone else does.
You don't want to be, what, a conformist?
I'm going to fart, wake myself up, and then sleepwalk. Like a gentleman.
Like a gentleman. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to fart in bed, then get up and walk away.
Also, Emma said, just on that, Emma said she was already up because I was already like talking in my sleep.
Right.
So she was already awake, and then I did the loudest fart of all time. And then I went and pissed into the washing
corner.
basket, and she was just awake for all of it.
I like that her
Which is
reaction was
horrific.
like, that's just Michael being Michael. I'm not going to intervene at all.
That's what I said. Like, she didn't laugh, which was the worst part. Like,
That's the
she didn't-
saddest.
In that moment, at like 3:30 a.m., she didn't find any humor. She was like, "Ugh, God, this sucks. I hate this guy. It's fucking gross. At least he has a podcast.